after 90. After every game, Alex, Mario.
I'm Mr. Mello on Twitter. If you don't know me, you should know me.
We are going to just come out, balls blazing, guns blazing, emotion felt, what we feel about it. Is Seferovic dating like Rudy Victoria's like sister or something?
I don't know, but that's a perfect way to start the show because we're live. Sorry, fuck it, it's live. Yeah, baby!
I love the air guitar motions. Every single time we play this intro, I always have to resist my urge to laugh. I see like the in the background doing this one. Neil's working the drums.
Neil's doing the drums in the back.
I love it. That should be the newest thing. Everyone plays a different instrument every single time. Get someone on the flute.
Oh God!
But yeah, thank you. Another edition of Benfiquistas Worldwide.
Benfiquistas Worldwide. Sorry,
Yeah.
Thought that sounded cool.
And this edition here, actually, which is kind of fun. The whole thing about the worldwide is we kind of go around the globe, talk different Benfiquistas. I will say has been very heavy in the Ontario-based Benfiquistas. I got a lot of Portuguese Benfiquistas in Ontario, and so that's how we've kind of been covering it off for the past little bit there. It's been quite exciting, and today we got Mr. Neil Fernandes joining us.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Can we sing "Oh Canada" later? Is that okay?
Is that how that goes? Are we doing it?
Yeah, like we'll end that off with "No Canada."
No one wants to hear me sing.
No, we'll get the trio going. That'd be hilarious.
Yo, if everyone that doesn't know, this is like the ultra positive Neil. Like it doesn't matter what game Benfica plays, Benfica's winning 10-0 every time. That's what we love about Neil. At least that's how I met Neil. He's a super positive guy. So it's really, 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 really nice to meet you in person the other day and to get you on this show.
I just always really want Benfica to win. So if I throw it out there in the universe, hopefully it happens. And yeah, it was great. Great seeing you in person on a cold night at BMO Field in Toronto.
Repping the TFC. But
yeah, we all got our digits back on that night.
Yeah.
But no, going forward, yeah, this is Benfiquistas Worldwide, man. You know what this is. We go up, pick up people from around the world, and just want to hear your story about you as a Benfiquista. So our first question started off, how did you become a Benfiquista? When did it happen? And give us your story.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions and a lot of information. I wouldn't say I was born a Benfiquista. My dad was never really into sports. He's from the old country, and he hung out in the fields taking care of sheep. So not a lot of time for Benfica or for soccer for that matter. And came to Canada in '64, so it kind of worked a lot. So I didn't get my Benfica fandom from him. I became a Benfica fan, I would say, when I was in grade 8. My mother, I guess as a gift or whatever, decided to buy me my first Benfica jersey. I had no idea what the team was. I had never really seen a Benfica game until that point. I just know, I think I was going to Portugal, and maybe I was a good boy that year, and my mom wanted to buy something for me. So we went to one of the local Portuguese stores here in Toronto on Dundas, and I picked out Benfica jersey from that year, and it was the Telesel one.
What year was that? Do you remember? I'm just curious. I want to go Google it.
It was like 96, 97.
Wow, I would have been like 3 years old.
Yeah.
We got some old guys in this chat, boys.
So out of curiosity, Neil, sorry to interrupt. You mentioned Toronto. You were always a city boy, born in Toronto, or where were you? Where'd you grow up?
All three of us were born and raised in Toronto. So I grew up in, I guess, what is still known as Little Portugal. So like Dundas and Dovercourt area, which now is, there's still Portuguese there, but the area's changed a lot.
For the viewers, just to kind of show them, because I do this at the beginning of the show, and I didn't do it right off the get-go because the last one we did was in Toronto. Mm-hmm. But if you do zoom into Toronto, for people that don't know, you got the central city right there. You hang a little bit westward. First choice restaurant. I guess they know where I like to eat because that's a nice little Portuguese restaurant that I love going to all the time. But that is your little Portugal area between Bathurst, between Davenport, the Oslington area. That was the original little Portugal. We've seen Chinatown encroach quite a bit here, but yeah, man. So you stomped around that area there.
Actually, it's funny. You had Sergio Jafust on 3 days ago. I grew up 3 doors down from Sergio. But Sergio was a bit older than me, so we never really went to school together or hung out together until now, basically, which is ironic. But yeah, so going forward, so I got my first Benfica jersey that summer, and then not my oldest brother, but my second brother, he's 10 years older than me. He really started following Benfica around the early 2000s. And I would say the 2005-2006 season, when we were in Champions League, I watched every single game. I watched
Is that where we were knocked out? Were we knocked out by Barcelona?
We were knocked out by Barcelona, but we beat Liverpool.
Right. But it was a tight Barcelona. We could have beat Barcelona. It was a tight game, though. I remember
they went on to win the Champions League that year.
They won the 2006 Champions League. So yeah, I saw the Liverpool games. I saw the Manchester United games. Mikoli's incredible goal. I believe it was against Liverpool. And then I became hooked. And I just found out today that we didn't even win the league that year. And we beat Porto twice, and we ended up finishing 3rd place that year. But
none of that bad luck for this year, man. Get that out of here, bro.
That was then. This is now. So then the following year, there was a bunch of buddies of my brothers. Actually, they're sort of like family, and there's a lot of Portuguese out in Oshawa. I make the relation to the Portuguese in Cambridge the same as the Portuguese in Oshawa. Small little cities outside of Toronto, but big Portuguese population. Yeah. So there was a bunch of us from Oshawa that we decided to do a Benfica road trip. So my first Benfica game was in 2007. It was Benfica against AC Milan. We drew 1-1. And Maxi Preda was the winger that night. He wasn't even a right back. It was his first year in a Benfica jersey.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the one where they came to Toronto, though, right?
No, this was before Toronto.
So where did they play?
This was at Stadio da Luz. It was a Wednesday night. So
you guys from Oshawa got together and went all the way to Stadio da Luz.
And we went to Portugal for a week, and we watched soccer. Yeah, so Benfica AC Milan was 1-1.
That's awesome.
We drove up to Braga because João Pinto was playing at Braga and they played Bayern Munich. So we went to the Braga Stadium and we saw Porto Benfica, and we lost 1-0 on a Quaresma goal. And we were hanging out with these Sportingistas that week, and we felt bad for them because in Portugal no one has money. Alma Cris, right? That's what we've been hearing our whole lives.
Yeah.
So we took these guys to a Sporting Leiria game, and I swear to God, I'm not trying to be funny or whatever. I slept the whole game. It was so fucking boring.
Well, I mean, it is Leiria, bro. Leiria is.
And that Sporting stadium, the colors just hurt your eyes.
It's to make it seem like they have more fans. No.
A big ceramic toilet bowl.
It does, the Sanita. It's hilarious.
And then I've been hooked ever since. I barely miss a game. As busy as things are right now, with my job, my wife, and my kid, I always make time to watch Benfica. I mean, you miss games and it's part of life, right? You can't watch every single game, but honestly, when people talk about vices and in my spare time I go to casino. Oh, in my spare time, I smoke drugs. In my spare time, I jerk off. My vice is Benfica. That's your line.
That's your line. That's your thing.
That's yeah.
And
that's what gets you off, literally.
And I feel bad for my wife, right? Because she's like, you spend a lot of time following this team, and she sees me every day on the phone talking to you guys, and I'm like, babe, I don't do drugs. I don't.
I'm loyal. I love you, but this is also my
you don't get prostitutes.
I don't get prostitutes.
Yeah,
I don't have time for that. This is what I do.
No one's got time for prostitutes when you got Benfica.
Yeah.
And for any women out there listening, that's how you get an honest man. You got to be Benfiquista, and he's too busy for that stuff.
He's too busy for the other naughty things.
I don't got time for that nonsense. But then just over the years it was like, and then social media happened. So, going on Twitter for the first few years, like connecting with like actual people that have the same interests in you. In 2012, when I discovered Twitter, me and my brother were like, man, there's these things called podcasts. Like, how cool would it be if there was like a Benfica podcast? And then Alfredo's podcast shows up, and it was like, by the time we discovered it was like 6 episodes in, and as you all know, I was a part of that for about a year, and it was a great experience. Mm-hmm. And then I met Mario. Actually, me and Mario were on the Benfica podcast a few times in the early years, and then eventually I hooked up with Dave Vitronic from Planet Benfica, and I was actually doing some writing for the Planet Benfica website, which was very exciting. And now I get my Benfica fix through you guys every day. We have the WhatsApp chat, and we sort of keep each other in the loop into what's going on in the club. And we've all sort of met each other at some point. Like it's crazy how this club has brought us all together. And you know what's funny is like we talk to, I'm sure you guys have done the same, but I talk to people who like Manchester United and who like Barcelona and who like AC Milan, all these big teams. And it's like their online community, as big as those clubs are, it's like I just feel like we are like one big family. Like we don't always agree with each other, but we all like make an effort to like hook up
in a sort of way,
and visit each other on different sides of the world. Like it's a strong connection.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like my best mate, my best man at my wedding, Rui's godfather, a good friend here in Canada, a Canadian guy, right? He's a big Man U fan, right? And he loves United. There's more than enough content on United on the internet because the EPL gets so much coverage. But there isn't this connection with the fans. They're there, or they could go, "Hey, I'm a United fan," away we go. But there is not as many podcasts, not as much, and even when they are, they feel distant. They're not as you are right. It's like a familia, and we might debate, we might argue, but at the end of the day, we all love each other, love the fans, love everyone.
We support the main goal, right? Which is Benfica is the umbrella, right? Like that's our thing.
Now, did you used to, like, prior to following Benfica, did you just watch most Portuguese kids, Seleção?
I remember, like the 2002 World Cup when it was in Japan. I remember getting up at like 4 a.m. for those games. And as much as like I wanted Portugal to win, even to this day, like if Portugal wins, that's cool. But when Benfica wins, I'm like super excited when Benfica wins. And when Portugal loses, oh, that's sad that they lost. But when Benfica loses, like I get fucking mad and like I don't want to talk to anyone and I want to like throw things.
It affects you.
And I go to work and I'm like pissed off and I don't, someone looks at me the wrong way. I'm like, no, I'm not serving you. I'm not getting your fucking beer. Fuck you, right? No, not to that extent. But,
Neil's
it sucks.
Very aggressive, everybody. Neil's very aggressive.
No, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I just wanted to ask you touched up a little bit on the social media and its interaction with Benfica, but I want to hold up on this, bring it back. You said the jersey is what kind of helped start and spark this love affair with Benfica. What would you say now, all these years later, 2019, is your favorite Benfica jersey since that one? Which one would be your favorite since that first one you got?
My favorite Benfica
could be one you own, could be one you don't own. Which one? No stress.
As long as it has the right emblem. That's
No, for sure. There's a few that stick out. I really wish I bought the pink Benfica jersey at the time. Like I have a pink TFC jersey. I was wearing it to the game. I saw you guys, and it was the same color. So I wish I still might. There's a website called classicfootballshirts.co.uk.
I think
I see it. Yeah, I see it on there every now and then. So I might just spoil myself when you pick it up. So
there was who wore those jerseys? Like that was that like a Cardozo era, Micoli era,
Cardozo,
right?
Rui Costa,
Micoli, yeah, those, that was nice. Yeah, those were nice.
It was like 2006, 2007, 2006, like 2008.
Something like that. Yeah, it was that era
Around
there. You're right.
So that jersey stands out. The Benfica PT jersey with the four squares. That was
This one here.
Oh, look, buddy.
That one, yeah.
Mario's got it on, baby.
Yeah, I wore that one yesterday when I was watching the game.
Right.
Even like the white jersey from last season was pretty nice. When I was in Portugal, I picked up that one. No, the year they won the Penta.
We didn't win no Penta.
Sorry,
No,
the Tetra. The Tetra.
I know which one you're talking. The white one with the red. I got that one
The
upstairs.
white
That's the
one
one.
with the red.
Yeah, I got busy on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought that one that year. So that one's sentimental for me for that reason. Yeah, honestly, Benfica rarely has ugly jerseys. I think like that's one thing. Like their jerseys are like so unique and beautiful, and they stand out that it's rare like they'll screw up like a jersey. I think so. I don't know. You guys could probably.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think Benfica tends to enter in the top 15 or top 20 nicest jerseys in the world when they do like their those like websites do the annual whatever they're called, the ratings for the jersey. I think Benfica tends to come up in the top 15 with the jerseys. They're pretty crisp. Well, they're made by Adidas, man. Adidas makes all. You know what I mean? So,
but even without the Adidas, I feel like over the years, it's always been a very simple, clean look.
Mhm.
It's a nice look. It's not overly done. You get some teams that overdo it. I find we're not picking on Sporting or Porto, but I find when you get all the different stripes and this and that, and with the sponsors, it starts just looking like it's too much white noise, right?
Yeah.
Remember Porto had that brown jersey last year?
Oh yeah, that looked
they're shit, and that's what that color's for. That's why they picked it, because they're just a big piece of shit. Sorry, I just after yesterday's game, bro. After yesterday's game, I'm still hyped up on this, bro.
Hey, we won.
That's it, man. But continue from that. Sorry, Mario.
Let me, go. Yeah, so let's
go. I feel that insulted me.
Can I touch up?
Go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say while we're talking about jerseys, I also feel like there was that time last year when James Harden of the Houston Rockets
I'm back in. Oh shit, that was so cool. Yeah, man, that was awesome.
And I have a theory, and you know what happened is these basketball guys and these sports guys, they all have like people that dress them and pick up their clothes, right?
Right.
Fly Emirates now is on like every big team jersey, so they probably wanted to get them a Real Madrid jersey, and they just happened to run out or sold out. It's like, oh, this one looks like
it's a clean. Well, here's the thing. He plays for the Rockets, and the Rockets is a red jersey team, right? So
that's what he was looking for. He wanted red, yeah.
And it looked good on him, bro. And he just like walking, and he's like, I'm back then, I'm better, because he was out for injury for so long. Oh, that was so cool. I followed him for that.
There's what was that one player, the tennis player? I think it was the Serbian guy.
Novak Djokovic.
Yeah, guy. Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
He used to sport the Benfica jersey actually quite often. I always get a kick when it's like a non-Portuguese, non-related person that whips out a jersey.
Oh man, Mike Tyson's done it. Some famous actors done it. Like so many people. Like Benfica's the best, bro. Frank Sinatra, I think, wore one, bro. Like with Eusebio back in the day. I swear, I think he did, bro.
Yeah. Madonna's always sporting Benfica now, which I love.
Madonna's adopted all her 13 adopted children play for Benfica now. Like it's
socials now.
Yeah.
You know her son is he'll eventually, I think if he stays with the Seychelles, he'll eventually be on the main team.
He'll be the next Montores.
He probably won't be as good as Montores, but he'll get a shot.
Hey, but from a marketing standpoint, not that I want to encourage, even if the guy's not the greatest, just bringing him on the bench if he gets to that stage in his career, it'd be good for the kid. But all of a sudden, Madonna would be probably going like gangbusters on Benfica.
Bro, it would be such a great marketing thing. Yeah, holy hell. Madonna's son play for Benfica. Lol.
But think about it. So she was living in the States. Mm-hmm. Her kid was like showed talent. And then she was like, okay, I want my kid to pursue a career in soccer. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to go to a city where I'm going to be stalked and harassed. And they're probably like, okay, here are your options. And then Lisbon came up. It's like, oh, Portugal, that country of 11 million people. I could sort of blend in with the crowd. No one's going to really bother me over there. And from what I hear, like, there's been, like, no issues. Like, supposedly she lives in a castle and she wants to, like, buy out the castle. And the locals are, like, pissed off at her because she wants to buy, like, the parking spot that they use. But other than that, it's been, like, a good transition, I feel, for her and her family.
That's
So
always good.
you brought up one thing, which is the Tetra game, because you brought up that jersey. It's special because you went to the Tetra game. Me and Neil bumped into each other at the Tetra final. I had my son Rui with me.
Yeah.
It's special for me because it was the first game I took my son to. But for yourself also, Neil, that was the first time you also, for me, it was the first time I saw them lift the championship in the stadium. That was the first time for you also, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I cried at the end of that game. I cried like a baby. And not just that, it's like coming home and finding out my wife was pregnant during that whole time.
Oh.
And like my son was there sort of at the luge. Like just awesome. Awesome. And he loves Benfica. Like he's won and he just like every time the game's on, he just like he points at the emblem. Like when I have the jersey on, like he points at it, and like he knows like what Benfica is. And every day he wakes up, there's like a scarf in the room. It says Benfiquistas Pequeno. I think your son has one too, eh, Mario?
Yeah.
And every day, like that scarf is hanging on his door, and he wakes up and he points. Like he knows what it means. He knows it's like something important in this house.
It's a happy thing because anytime he sees his dad looking at that, he has a big ass smile on his daddy's face.
Yeah, and like yesterday when we beat Porto, I was like cloud number 9, as I'm sure you guys were as well.
Oh, everyone was there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I know it's feeling good right now, man. I tell you, we're fortunate to be on the run we're on right now. It's always a good time, even if Benfica's not winning. It's always good to be a Benfiquista. I feel.
It is like
yeah.
We go through good times and bad times. Like last year, like sucked. Like we lost, and you know,
even the start
and like it's honestly like this. I never thought in a million years this team was going to get a new coach and they were going to turn it around the way they have this year. Like it's just. It's a good time to be a Benfica fan.
Yeah, it's been stellar. Which reminds me and brings me up to another question. I guess maybe it's a two-parter question. First question would be, who has been your favorite player of all time since you started following till now? Not including like guys like Eusebios, none of that. Like guys that you've seen play.
Yeah, during my time. Okay.
And I also want you to compare a little bit, depending on who it is, or it doesn't matter. The teams from when you first started watching, like really started following till today. Yeah. I want you to compare those two teams and where one was better or where one is worse, you know?
Okay, so favorite player. Anyone who knows me knows I've always had a soft spot for Montorres. So I came a year after the Trapattoni year, but I've seen the videos, I've followed the history. That year, that Trapattoni year, people don't want to admit this. It was super sub Montorres. He would come on and he would score, and that's why they won that year.
Yeah.
So Montorres has a soft spot, but obviously, yeah, like guys like Rui Costa who like bleed the jersey, bro. He left, he made his money, and he took a pay cut to come back. Like that is a Benfica fan, and that is someone who I respect. The Sauciu commercial a few years ago, the worst day of my life when I was playing for Fiorentina and I scored against Benfica, I cried. Wow.
What more do you want?
What more do you want? Loyalty, which I feel like is something that lacks in the sport nowadays. So Rui Costa, Montorres, and then guys like Luizão put in his time. Like you could say what you want about his last year's at Benfica, maybe wasn't contributing as much, but man, when that guy was at his prime, best center back in Portugal and one of the best in the world, hands down, and captain, and he loved the club. Could have left at many points. Yeah, there was times where he was looking for more money and there was like a lot of politics and stuff, but the guy still put in 14, 15 seasons at our club. Like
he stuck around.
You don't see that around.
What's that?
You just don't see that nowadays.
No, very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
And then who else? Man, there's so many to talk about. I always had a soft spot for goalies. I always had a soft spot for Jose Moreira. I felt like he never got his push. And if he wasn't injured as much as he was, I feel like he would have been like Portugal's goalie instead of Ricardo at the time. But
that guy was good at saving penalties. That guy was really good at saving penalties. Moreira,
yeah. But then like Keane was amazing too. So like, what would Benfica be without Keane during those years as well, right? In terms of teams, yeah. So like my first year, there were guys like let's see, Leo, Luizão, Ricardo Rocha,
Miguel on the defense side.
Miguel,
Yeah.
Manuel Fernandes, Simão Sabrosa, Petit, Micoli, Nuno Gomes,
Diaguiars or whatever, the one guy from Canada. I forget his name.
Fernando Aguiar. Yeah, he was after me. He was just
after?
before I started. I started
okay.
following. So that was basically the Benfica I sort of started getting to know, and then some of the best teams. Yeah, like the 2009, 2010 team where we had like Ramirez, David Luiz, Pablo Aimar, Oscar Cardozo, Saviola,
Grunge cracks, man.
Ruben Amorim, bro. I loved Ruben Amorim because he was a well-versatile player. He could play every position, that guy.
He used both feet. It was retarded. That guy was
both feet. I swear there was one game where we lost a goalie and he went in net for like penalty kicks.
He did, yeah. I think there was.
I think it was like a Tasa game against Sporting, and he had to go in net.
There was some stupid game he had to go in net for. Yeah, I think I know. There's a guy that I'm trying to remember. Was it him? I think it was.
I think it was him.
He was an odd player because he wasn't like. I never thought he was a great player, but he was good in a lot of different positions. Like he could do like the defensive mid,
the right
winger,
back,
back.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like, yeah, he's the plug. It's like, all right.
There were times where we were struggling these last few years, Mario and Dylan, and I was like telling my brother, I'm like, man, imagine if we had Ruben Amorim coming off the bench right now. Like he could fill in. He could fill in right back. He could fill in winger. He could do it all. It was ridiculous. Yeah. Funny. Oh, and like the 2004 Portugal team when Greece beat them twice. I always tell everyone, yeah, Greece won because they had Karagounis, Katsourannis, and Feisties. Three Benfica players, bro.
That's right. Yeah,
I absolutely could not even deal with those guys after that Portugal loss, and then they transferred out shortly afterwards, also, right? Which I think was the right move.
And Katsourannis, I think, came after the Euro.
It was Feces that was at Benfica, right?
Yeah,
he was the one that scored the goal, right?
He was the one that scored the goal. I remember him leaving though, but
he left after the Euro. But Karagounis and Katsourannis we got after the Euro.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Everyone gets one. That was Greece's one.
It's okay. Mario, do you wanna hit up, or do you mind if I?
Yeah, go for it, buddy. Go for it.
Mr. Fernandes, you talked a little bit about the technology and how it integrated with the fans. I want a little bit more opinion on that. In terms of the marketing, the free marketing that Benfica gets with all this, the time we put in for the podcasts, for the shows, for just ranting and venting, talking about Benfica, and you see how it's exploding on these Twitter. On these Twitter pages with like future stars, stats, and it's always talking about Benfica, and even on the Facebook. I want you to talk a little bit about the impact us fans have on the team, on the branding, and where you see it going in the near future. You think it's a positive? Do you think it'll hurt us because we will sell players due to exposure of their skill? What's your take on the social media platform with Benfica?
I think social media helps build every brand. Being a manager, I think some sort of advertising is better than no advertising, right? Word of mouth is the best because it doesn't cost you anything, and whether it's good press or bad press, it's still you're getting your brand out there. So a team like Benfica getting all these free podcasts, all these Instagram posts, all these followers. I think it's just gonna keep building the community, and it's just gonna get more people involved and more passionate fans like ourselves linking up with other passionate people about the club. I think it's great. I think it's nothing bad come of it. Now, in terms of selling players and stuff like that. Sorry, I didn't understand that part of the
No,
question.
like when, for example, I'll use like a now example, João Felix, right? He's playing so well, and we're all hyping him on Twitter, we're all hyping him on Facebook, on Instagram. His name's getting out there, he's being exposed, right? Like it's just the whole world knows.
So
that
maybe
gives
like
incentive for other teams to pick on him.
I think like a good example, which is a couple of years back, was Renat Sunch.
Yeah.
There was the kid was an exciting kid. Had lots of talent. He was exciting for both Benfica and also the national team, right? When he won the Euro. But also, he was, I'm not being offensive at all to Renat Sunch. Great player. He wasn't the best player on Benfica that year. He wasn't. We had other players that were better. But I think it was so hype from the fans that I wonder if maybe inflated his value a bit, which is good for us because we got more money. That's all.
Yeah, I'm all for getting more money because of social media. There's but I think like if there's players that are good at Benfica, they're gonna get recognition regardless of social media. So for example, there's a podcast I listen to, and I posted it a few times in our chat group. It's called On the Continent. So it's like these Italian guys. Sorry, it's these English guys who basically talk a lot about Serie A and La Liga and European soccer. And Andy Brassel, who follows the Portuguese league very well, and he's a good follow on Twitter. He's part of it as well. And basically, these guys, every other episode, they'll talk about Benfica. They'll talk about João Felix. They know what's going on in Portugal. So like one of the jokes the other day was like, if Benfica is gonna sell João Felix for 100 million, they should probably include Seferovic in the deal, because I don't know how good Felix will be without Seferovic, which is like kind of a good point, right? Because most of the games where Felix has been on fire, Seferovic is like his right hand guy. So I don't know if it's true what they're saying.
I agree with that 100%.
The point I'm trying to make is like, regardless of social media, if we have these key players that are good and that are worth a lot of money, it's because like soccer pundits, other soccer clubs are around Europe, around the world, are noticing like our talent. And let's be realistic. The Seychelles right now is one of the best, if not the best, youth academy in the world.
It's got to be top 5 for sure.
In the world, bro, hands down.
Yeah.
I'd say like number 1, man. It got.
I just don't say one because you got big players like La Masia, Barcelona, right? A lot of those guys don't make the A team because the A team is just so good, right? They go to all those guys. You got guys. Ajax, the Ajax Academy is really good too, man.
Yeah, but it's the thing is though, to be up there, it's a good thing for the club, right? Whether they're number 1 or the 5th best in the world or 3rd best in the world, it's we got a good system and we're happy about it, right? As fans.
Yeah, if you become president, like I joke about becoming president of Benfica, but basically that'll be my platform. I'd be like, yeah, just spend money in the Seychelles, and that's it, and you're good. As long as the Seychelles is open, you got people's votes, I think.
Agreed.
And I think I myself and people know this, I criticize Luis Riviera quite a bit for other issues, but the number one thing he's always done well was the Seychelles and kind of the whole dream of doing a made in Benfica team, right? Winning championships. That's really all, man. If we win this season, which it looks like we are, but don't want to jinx us, we're doing it with the Seychelles. And it's very cool. It's very cool. Like we've done it in past years where we've done it with like 1 or 2 pieces, but it feels like the core of this team is being driven by it, right? So that's an awesome time right now.
Agree. Neil,
yeah.
Sorry.
What's up, boys? I could be here all night. My wife and my kid are sleeping, so we can make this an all night thing.
Your kids are sleeping, bro. It's so early.
Nap time.
He's 1. He's taking his mid-afternoon.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
So yeah, I know the age, which was unfortunate when I found this out. It's I think you have to be over the age of 3 in Portugal to see a Benfica game.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to that experience if your little guy gets to that stage, take him to his first game?
Yeah, hopefully, when he's 3, he's still as passionate about the club as he is now at 1. But yeah, I definitely. I don't know how you felt, but like walking into that stadium, it always chokes me up, man. Like just looking at the lights and just like it's a beautiful fucking stadium.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
And I see that green field too with the red background. Oh, orgasm.
Like I went to Old Trafford 10 years ago with my brother-in-law because he's a big Man U fan, and I walked in. I was like, "Yeah, this is a nice stadium, but the Benfica one's better," and that's it.
Yeah,
It's a
nice
feeling.
walking
It's the Mishtika. The Mishtika. When you walk, it's around the grounds. You see the Zebu statue, and it's yeah. You're right. As soon as you walk in, and the way it just opens up, and you see the green field, and just our stadium of light. It's amazing. It's the best feeling you can ever have, and it's. I'm the same way. I get teary-eyed every time I go there.
Yeah, I
Do you have any,
remember like first.
Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, first time I went there with my wife, same thing. Like I just started crying. She's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Don't you know where we are? Like, this is like the most beautiful place on earth."
What's your Neil, man? What's your like most proudest moment as a Benfiquista? What's a moment like like you have muito orgulho that you could say, "Hey, man, like Benfica did this that year." You know what I mean? Like, what would you say is your? And don't say the '62 Champions League, bro, because you were.
I wasn't
swimming in your
around. I
grandpa's
wasn't.
nutsack, man.
No,
Like-
I wasn't around for that one. I just there's like a few, but I remember, yeah. So like the recent one was the Tetra. Obviously, that was awesome.
Huge.
Every now and then, when we sell like these players for like big stupid money, it's like I'll turn to like my non-Portuguese friends. It's like, you see, guys, like you think this club's a joke? Like this club's no joke. And just like all the haters when they talk, I just pull up Guinness Book of World Records. I'm like, oh look, Benfica's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Most registered, supported fans, more than any other team in the world. And then you got guys like Bruno who are like Portuguese fans, like, oh, that's bullshit. It's like, yeah, your club stinks. Shut up.
They're not big. Our branding is just.
Our branding is huge, bro.
It's huge.
I'm telling you, like, Benfica is the reason Portugal is on the map.
You could argue that. You honestly could argue that. I mean, you talk a lot of like I'll meet people and I'll be like, oh, I'm Canadian, but my background is Portuguese. Oh, Benfica. Like it's the focal point. And if it's not Benfica, it's a recent time. Oh, Ronaldo. You know what I mean? But it tends to be Benfica just because of its history and even now the up and coming years. Its results in Europe in the Europa League and the team selling great players. It's really making us a focal point in Portugal.
The year we beat Juventus, that was
wow, that game. Huge.
That game I cried too, because I remember something like really fucked up happened that day. I forget what happened, but something like really like bad happened in my family. No one died, but it was like something close to a death.
Thank God.
And I just remember I was like, oh my God, like this makes up for like the bad news that we got. Like, and they beat Juventus in Italy with like 9 men or something stupid.
Yeah, we got a red card or something like that. Yeah, I remember that shit. I remember that.
Those back-to-back finals, even though we lost, that was like.
Yeah, I was proud.
You were proud to be Benfiquista.
Very proud. Very proud. Very sad.
And if there
was,
VAR, that Europa League final against Sevilla, I think we would have won because Beto was a big cheater.
Even against Chelsea, bro, man. Like whatever, man.
Chelsea, we were unlucky.
Brings back so many feels. It brings back so many feels talking about that.
Chelsea, we were unlucky. It was like right at the end.
I know.
This field one, yeah, that was heartbreaking because in the sense that I felt like we earned it. I felt like we were finally going to win it, and it felt like we were robbed. But at the end of the day, we still went and won a title afterwards, which was nice. Like, domestically, which was good. At least it wasn't as bad as that previous year. I always find I'm going to sound like not a snob about soccer or a beautiful game, but when I talk to people about the sport, if I ever get someone that goes, they go, "Oh yeah, what team do you support?" I say Benfica, and they go, "What?" And I say out of Portugal, and they're like. And they kind of have like a look on their face like they don't know what Benfica is. I'm like,
I think now that's changed, Mario. I think now, like, anyone who follows soccer knows who Benfica is.
That's how you know, because as soon as someone says they don't know who Benfica is, you ask them a few questions about like the Champions League, they know nothing.
They know nothing. They know like, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And half those people you talk to are always younger guys, because older people know. They know and they respect, right? Like that's a fact. A lot of this younger generation, they're stuck with the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas so far up their ass that they forget that those aren't the most dominating guys in the world. You know what I mean? Like there's more.
Yeah. Like as good as Champions League money is, and I know Mario, you're a big fan of paying off the debt, and it's absolutely true. Like Benfica needs to pay off the debt, but the way Champions League is set up, we're never gonna win anything because UEFA like loves Real Madrid, Barcelona, and now it's like the new teams. It's going to be Man City, it's going to be PSG, it's going to be Juventus, and Bayern Munich, and it's just boring. That competition, as soon as Benfica's out, I stop watching because it's just so boring. So
you know what made it boring too? Ronaldo made it boring. Because Ronaldo, for some reason, is so good in the or has been really good in the Champions League. You know,
it
hasn't helped. It hasn't helped the situation.
We just did a recent show with the Portisha Bruno, and after we were done recording, you know, we a lot of times we'll talk sometimes for a few minutes afterwards, or sometimes we've had times we're talking for a few hours later, right, when we have people over. And we had this conversation, and the Champions League itself it lost what the value was of the European competition. For a very long time, you had a variety of teams from Europe, from Eastern Europe, from Southern Europe, from Northern Europe. You had Anderlecht, you had Celtic, you had Ajax, you had Benfica.
Teams in Romania, man. Teams in Romania, man.
Croatian team. You had the Bayern Munichs. But it felt like it was a fun competition. It was like bringing the different cultures together, and each team had its own identity, its own feel. And now it's like I don't like calling teams plastic teams, things of the sort, but you look at a City and you look at a Chelsea, you even look at like Real Madrid or PSG, or it almost feels like remove the jersey color and the badge, and it's all the same thing, right? Like they're all just trying to outbid each other. They say they have an identity, but they don't really. Yeah, they're not really an identity. It's not like back in the day. It used to be you developed a team, developed a style, and it was who can develop the best players, and it was almost like you're representing both club and country. Where now that kind of
where the money is where the money goes, and then where the winning goes too, right?
Yeah,
like, doesn't help.
It gets to a point where it's only a few teams that are competing, and in a way, it's kind of like what you might complain about domestically, because you see Benfica and Port back in the day also sporting, and if you look in Spain, it'd be Barcelona, Real Madrid, and sometimes an Atletico, right? You get like a very top-heavy system, which is great for the winners, but for everyone else, it kind of like, okay, what's the point of us following this, right? And exactly. Yeah, I think there's something that they somehow have to fix. It's beyond our pay grade, and we talked about solutions for over a bit of time yesterday.
That's why if Benfica goes all the way and win Europa League, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, big deal, they won Europa League. But like I said, it's a European championship. What, you don't want to win a European championship?
There will be the respect will be given once winning one of those.
Even if you only make 5 million euros for winning the whole thing, who cares? It's another trophy. It's exposure to the league. It's exposure to the team. And Bruno Lage would look like a hero.
Oh yeah, he would. And I think there are some people that they knock it basically on the money. They'll get money and they go, "Oh, it's not a good trophy." I'm like, "Well, take away the money. It's a tournament that is a tough tournament to win." I think it'd be great for the club. It'd be amazing. I'd be ecstatic if Benfica won it for two reasons. It feels like it breaks a curse because we can't, we haven't been able to do anything.
The team owes it to the fans, bro. The team owes something to the fans.
Yeah.
Plus, it feels like it breaks a curse, and also it's not like we're bigger than Port. We got more titles overall in our trophy house. But the one little bragging point they have on us is they got that stupid Europa League, right? And it'd be nice to kind of get it also to just say, yeah, shut up, we got that too.
Yeah, seriously, I know.
It's to take away some bragging rights away from the guys up north, and also as a fan of the club, you always want to see us win more, right? You want to see more and more titles.
Hell yeah.
So any kind of traditions you have, like when it comes to game day? I know nowadays you're kind of like myself, where you got a family and you're very family oriented. It's you mainly watch them at home, or do you have any traditions when it comes time to Benfica when they're about to play?
Once upon a time, I used to go to Casa Benfica in Toronto a lot. That's where I started hanging out with Sergio Jafurst, was at the Casa Benfica. And I'd meet up with him and some other guys, or I'd go with my brother or whatever. But honestly, I like watching the game. I like being at home, in the comfort of my own home. Not to say, like, if somebody invites me out to a game, I won't go, but it's just like, I'll be honest, guys. I like to drink beer. I sell beer for a living. I like to drink beer. I go to these bars, the Casa Benfica. I'm lucky to get 2 beers the whole game. I want 2 beers every 10 minutes when I'm watching Benfica.
That is for anyone that's outside of the Toronto area that watches this. The Casa Benfica in Toronto, the number one issue is they try really hard to do what they can, but when they got one girl and they got like
one girl for 200 guys.
Casa Benfica in Toronto. If you're listening, invest in your servers and waitresses. Y'all need to do a
It
little
is the
bit
toughest thing that they struggle with. It's tough, man. And the Portuguese guys
No,
are
I get
terrible
it.
also, right?
And the
they don't
Portuguese
tip.
don't help.
But when
Yeah.
but when you sit there without a cerveja and you want another cerveja, you're like, it's funny. Like we try to like order two. Like if I ever go to some places, especially when I know it's that bad for service, you get like 2 beers at a time, just at least. It might be a while before you get another shot at a beer.
Or the other thing that kills me is like there's a game on and there's like these old guys there and they're not even ordering anything. It's like, you know what? Pay a $2 ticket at the door and like put it towards like a drink or something. They're just there occupying seats. Me and Dylan need to sit down.
Just sit down and pound them and yell and scream, not sit there with our hands like this and look pissed off the whole time. I hate that shit.
Yeah. But like I've gone to like Cambridge to watch games with Mario. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that once in a while. But for the like if it's people I haven't seen in a while, whatever. But for the most part I like watching the game at home. In terms of traditions, I don't really have any traditions. I try to like wear a Benfica jersey while I'm watching the game. I don't know, maybe that's like a superstitious thing of mine.
Same way, bro.
I don't think it works half the time. It's just something I've ingrained in my head. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put my jersey on.
Believe in it. That's it.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I don't really have any traditions.
Yeah.
Any leftover? So you got to see Benfica live a championship in person. Is there like a next bucket list item for you? You've gone on road trips to Benfica. Obviously, you've seen some European games. It sounds like. Is there like an item next on the list that you want to see for Benfica?
Yeah, like European championship, like Champions League for sure, but the way the competition is set up, I don't think it's gonna happen in the next 20 years.
Personally. So like let's say Benfica makes it to the Europa final. Are you gonna book a ticket, go watch that game? Like is that like to be
the
there?
One year, the Amsterdam year when it was against Chelsea, I was like humming and hawing, and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she's like, yeah, if you feel the need to go, I don't care. But I think the next time they do it, I think I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go. Regardless of whatever curse we have.
Well, that's why you got to go. You got to break that curse.
Yeah, I got to go and be like, okay, I really shouldn't be spending this money, but this probably won't happen anytime soon.
One time, yeah, exactly.
I got to go. I got to do this, right? So there's that. I want to see. I've seen Benfica Porto. I want to see Benfica Sporting. I haven't seen the Benfica Sporting match yet, and I feel like as much as us in Porto don't get along, I feel like I always felt like the Sporting rivalry is more intense than the Porto one.
Oh, I agree.
Because it's like down the street from each other. You know, there's the story of like 100 years ago where like I think Sporting stole like 6 of our players. From Benfica. Yeah. There's like some story like that.
We stole the most important one, which was Eusebio, so that's all that matters.
We didn't steal. It's just like,
hey man, the story goes that he was supposed to go to Sporting, man.
Yeah, and you know what? Salazar like screwed up Portugal royally for many years.
Yeah,
but the best thing Salazar did was he told Eusebio he wasn't allowed to leave Portugal.
Thank God.
Yeah, could you imagine
Thank God, bro.
Could you imagine that nowadays, eh?
Because he would have gone to like Barcelona and just tore up Europe or Milan.
Hey man,
Benfica
had an apparent good squad at the time. Would he really leave? I mean, we beat Real Madrid, we beat Barcelona, so.
The neat thing with and some people go, oh, he held him back. It's like, I think the guy loved the club. He played for the club.
He did.
He went international
so many
for
years,
many bit. Like he came to North America, came to Toronto. A lot of people might not know that. Canada's first soccer championship for a team was Eusebio. Came to town for just 1 year and won it.
So that was it. No more cold. Fuck the cold. I'm out.
So before TFC won the MLS Cup in 2017. And I was writing at Pana Benfica and stuff like that. I was hounding those guys at MLSC, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment. I said, look, you guys need to erect a statue of Eusebio da Silva Ferreira in front of BMO Field in Toronto because the only championship in soccer that Toronto won was with the Toronto Metro Croatians in the 70s with Eusebio. Is Danny Dicchio winning trophies for TFC? No, he stinks.
Do they still do that damn chant at like the 70s?
They got rid of him. They got rid of that chant.
That was so stupid, bro. Oh my god.
They stopped doing that because I expressed a lot of. I would go take a piss every 24th minute of every game. Sing that stupid song.
Oh man.
But anyways, this is not TFC podcast.
Yeah, just real quickly for a reference, any international viewers or non-Toronto viewers, TFC is an MLS team that plays in North America. TFC is a pure shit team at the time. We're not making the playoffs, not doing anything good. They had one player that scored a few goals here and there, never the top scorer in any category whatsoever. Played for a few years, and then the fans would sing his name, and they friggin' hung his jersey, and it was rather comical because here's a guy who never won any cups, broke any records, or it's not even a few years later, not even the all-time goal scorer for the club.
No, he scored the very first goal. That's why they chanted his stupid name.
Yeah, he scored the first goal, but it wasn't really like a prolific striker of any nature. But it was always quite comical whenever I would go to a game, and you see these guys singing this guy's name. But yeah, no, Zebito, once his time wrapped up, he came back to Portugal, and he spent his days in cafes and at the luge and always talking to Benfica.
He was a Carlsberg rep here in Toronto too, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was.
That's very cool.
Carlsberg.
That was a big beer for a while. It was the Euro 2004, and I remember the Taça da Liga when they first launched. It was the Taça de Carlsberg for I think like 4 or 5 straight years.
Yeah.
And then they rebranded it to the Taça do Benfica.
Yeah.
We kept winning it every damn year. That's something on my personal bucket list. The Taça da Liga, I know it's not a respected competition, but I've never seen Benfica lift a cup in that personally, right? So I'd love to be.
I think it'd be nice if the Portuguese league put more investment into it, and maybe the winner of the Taça da Liga gets like a Europa League qualifier or something. Like, just make it worthwhile, right?
It's actually, I know it's not much money, but the money in the Taça da Liga is more than the money that the Taça Portugal.
Is it really?
I supposedly it is. I don't know if that's still the case.
It's because of sponsorship, right?
I wonder how the Taça Portugal goes now, but I know Taça da Liga, the final was getting a bit more money. Not too much. You're talking Portuguese money, right? You're not like
enough. Whatever.
Anyways, but I agree with you. I think the lack of a Europa League spot for it, I think you should have the first spot to the Taça Portugal and then the second spot to the Taça Liga, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe it'll make it more valuable for a team like Sporting that's fighting for a Europa League spot.
Fighting for any sort of European spot.
I gotta make fun of them while we can, right? It's all good fun. We got a lot of Sporting issues that are friends that sometimes listen because they want to cheer.
Because they can't get enough. They can't get enough of Benfica. They're a bunch of Messias. What?
Anything else you'd want the world to know about you? If there's a guy in Nepal or a guy in
South Sudan,
some guy like Iraq right now watching this, a Benfiquista there saying, "Let's learn about Neil Fernandes out of Toronto and Canada."
What would you want him to know, brother?
Yeah, I don't follow trends. Like, if I'm passionate about something, like I'm my own individual. I've never followed trends. I've never gone with the popular crowd. I've just sort of been like my own person, and we don't have to agree on everything. We can argue about different things. I really want to have a beer with Timo because like we fight all the time, but I feel like if we were at a bar and we would be like best friends. It's like, oh, you like this beer? Oh, I like that beer. You like Benfica? I like Benfica.
You would have a fun time. I've had the pleasure of drinking with Timo a few times, and I know for a fact I think you guys have a great time sitting down having drinks, shooting the shit.
I'm jealous of that guy. He goes to Portugal like every 6 weeks.
He enjoys the life, man.
I know. He has
a very nice wife, very nice, kind wife. That's the importance of a strong relationship, people out there. That's a message right there. You gotta get that allowance to go out there.
Gotta have trust. Gotta have trust.
No trust.
You gotta have trust. There's no way my wife would let me go to Portugal every 6 weeks.
But it's good, man. Are you planning on the next Portugal trip? When do you think that might happen?
Honestly, I've been telling my wife, like, I'm itching to catch a Benfica game, and like I might just get up and go one of these days and just take 3-4 days off and just go catch a game there. But there's like a lot of things that come into play. You gotta figure out like work stuff, and then if the wife and the kid are gonna be okay, and then all that stuff. But yeah, I miss going to the luge and watching a game. I always, when I go to Portugal, I try to book my Portugal trip based on if Benfica's playing, or else like I have family there, and it's nice visiting family, but I also want to watch my team. You know what I mean?
I was with my dad yesterday watching the game at the club, the Portuguese club, and he was joking with all the guys there saying, "Oh, my son he never travels to Portugal. He travels to Benfica. That's what he does." And then Portugal just happens to be around it. That's it, right? Like, and that's usually how it's based. And yeah, either if they go, oh, you should go in the summer. It's really beautiful. I'm like, yeah, in August when the season starts, or late May. Nice. Yeah. I like late May. You get to watch hopefully them win a cup, and it's nice weather. May
and September. Normally, me and my wife go May and September because it's half the price, and yeah, Benfica's on and the weather's good there.
Yeah. It's amazing, and for people, sometimes there's people in Portugal that sometimes complain. Oh, you got foreigners that kind of buy up tickets, things of the sort. Not too many people complain, but you have to understand for someone from whether it's from the Boston, Massachusetts area, from Toronto, from Quebec, from the West Coast or East Coast, or wherever they come from the world, they're investing, $1,500 sometimes, to just go watch a game. Yeah. And so when I see the sign on the Benfica TV. When it's at Stade Luge, and next weekend we got $5 Euro tickets in the nosebleeds, and people are like, I don't know if I want to go to a game. You got us Maluks over here that are.
But that's the thing. It's like we say that. So like, I love talking to someone like Maz because she goes to like all the games, right? So it's like, yeah, if we lived there, we would be like Maz. We would be going to like every single game. However, it's like I get a lot of people. It's like if you live up north. Just to drive down to the stadium, so tank of gas, the freaking tolls, it's probably like 60, 70 euros, right? Yeah. And then you gotta eat, you gotta freaking buy the ticket, like, and what minimum wage in Portugal is like 400 euros. Like it's expensive for them. So like to us, it's different because like our cost of living is different from our minimum wages are different from theirs, yada 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 yada. But like I get their concern over there, and the thing is too is like I've noticed. When the team is not in first place there, you see it. The stadium is not as empty. Like people are not as interested, which like infuriates me, but I sort of get it, right?
So Lisbon still has like over 500,000 people living in there, so you'd hope that they can just take 10% of that population and fill the stadium each time. But even we're like, so our house is in Caldas da Rainha, so we're not too far from where Cynthia's family's from, right? So like. Half hour, you're at if there's no traffic, you're at the luge, right? Like it's a no-brainer. Like if I lived there, I'd be going like as much as I could, right? That's amazing.
That's my ultimate dream. You want to know something about me? If I win the lottery, I want to move to Portugal and just watch Benfica.
All day, I would do the same. I would do the same, bro.
This is an honest truth right here. Is that me and Cynthia have actually sat down, gone on the realtor websites. Looked at homes, looked at the jobs, and we've kicked the tires out of it many times before about the idea. What if we just pack up?
As long as you get a full-time job in like any big city in the world, like you're set. But the problem is, it's like how many full-time guaranteed jobs are there in Lisbon or in Porto or in Aveiro or in Coimbra or even in Caldas, right? I don't know.
No, it's not even that. It's a challenge also is, to be honest, as a family. I was born in Portugal, but my kids are born here. And same with Neil. Your kids are born here, and you got family here. And it's more and more sometimes seems like a retirement dream, but that's the challenge. But we try and we dream, and that's the thing. Always dreaming. I do the same dream about winning the lottery, just going to Portugal and just being at every game.
Anyone listening or watching in Portugal, can you please DM me, Mario, and Dylan? If there's any full-time job opportunities in Portugal that you know of, we're Canadians. We're not scared to work. We don't have 2-hour lunch breaks. Our lunch breaks are 15 minutes if we're lucky. So slave drivers, we're ready to work. Just give us an opportunity and we'll make it happen over there.
That's it.
And I think that's a good way to end it off on. We'll leave it with a plea out to the mainland, the continent.
Link us up, bro.
Thank you so much, Neil. Honestly, it's always a pleasure having a beer with you, talking to you, man. I always tell people that don't know you that ask me about this Neil character, and I'm always like, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. Loves watching Benfica. Like always a smile, and if Benfica lose, he's upset. But you know what? Next week they're gonna go in. It's always he'll get upset. But one thing I've always say about you to people I meet is like that guy will turn around very quickly. It sucks they lost, but you know what? They're gonna go and beat the next team 5-0.
At least,
and you get back into it, and I love it. There's nothing wrong with being an optimist.
I'm pretty sure that Nacional game I said we're gonna smash these guys 10-0, and they did.
Fucking awesome, man. You did. See, yeah, I love it. And you know what? We went to beat Porto to the That's even better. I love that.
That's the best.
That's a good. Those guys are so sad right now, and I love it.
They're making all the excuses in the book. I love it.
Yeah. But thank you so much. Always subscribe. If you guys ever want to come on the Benfiquistas Worldwide, sometimes it's just scheduling, sometimes the timing's a bit off, and we want to add more and more people. But yeah, send us a message. And we got like a docket of people we've chatted with on and off that we're trying to round up a time that's great. But we always get excited. It's fun. It's fun to just talk about the club and your stories, and that's all it is. All right, guys.
That's it.
Peace.
Peace.